Have you ever thought, one more stamp, one more image, one more colouring page, and then I'll be able to expand my creativity and try out this new technique? Yeah, me too. I'm guilty of it. And sometimes buying new stuff to expand our creativity has its place, but it's amazing what we can achieve with what we already have. I have to say, one of the things I love about stamps and digi-stamps is the possibilities are literally endless. So today I'm going to have a really good play with just one image, and we are going to try and create with it 5 different ways. Use 5 different colouring styles to create completely different looks. So we are going to be colouring up this one, and I would love it if you could join me. So this little cutie first appeared in my sketchbook. He is meant to be a dragonfly, and he's holding a heart, which I think is completely adorable. Actually, to be honest, I couldn't really choose which image to have as my freebie this month, so I did put a poll up on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube, and this little cutie pie won. So if you do want to play along with any of the ideas that we do today, you can actually download this for free, and the details are in the description box. Now, first of all, I wanted to colour him using a monochromatic technique. I really wanted to almost do a value study, which I would need for some of the future ideas that we are going to do with him. I also didn't really want to do him just grey, so I did choose a monochromatic scheme, but I went with these sort of cool blues instead. To be honest, in every single one that I did, I was struggling to get the nice soft gradient on these wings that I wanted. So I ended up doing quite a bit with a blender marker to try and lighten it. But don't worry if you are struggling, the wonders of a white pen fix everything. So we will fix that up in a little bit. I did just deepen the shadows with some pencil, again try to lighten the wings with the pencils, and then have come in with a white acrylic marker, just sort of brought his little cute goofy teeth back and sort of tried to again soften those wings with lots of white dots. So I am now going to use this little one as a reference for my next idea. So I wanted to try value colouring. So this is where you don't particularly use colours that coordinate well, but it should still look good because the value is correct. So I swatched out my paint pens. As you saw, I took a photograph of them and then turned them black and white so I could choose the colours according to value. So the lightest ones in my collections turned out to be these sort of yellows, and because the wings were the lightest part, that is what I went for these. Now, I think this technique would possibly look better had it been like on a portrait or something like that, because although the colours are quite funky and radical, I think it kind of works for a dragon. A dragon could be green with yellow wings. I don't think it's that unusual. So I think the whole concept of it was slightly lost on this particular image, but it is something that I would try again. I love my acrylic markers, but when colouring this, I realised that I tend to use them far more for kind of highlighting certain areas or fixing things. Very rarely colour an entire image, so I was struggling a little bit with the blend. I have been using alcohol markers for like 25 years, so switching up to a new medium had its challenges, but I did sort of really enjoy it. And as I said, I was picking the colours based on the values that I got when I did the monochromatic colouring. Both the pink and green had that similar value, so to try and give the sort of look of it being slightly unusual, I sort of tried to add pink on as part of the shading elements. I think it's kind of cute. This is probably my least favourite of all the kind of ideas that I have done today, but it kind of works. Again, although the green and the pink were similar values, I opted for the pink for the grass because I was just trying to make it look kind of weird but right. I think that's what it should look like. It should look like, oh, that's different, but somehow it works. And so I definitely want to try this again, but I think with a different subject matter. I tried to neaten up the line work here and sort of did that with a black and white pen. I didn't really like how the wings looked with the solid black line, so after I add all of these little dots again to try and make the wings just look that little bit softer, I do end up going over those black lines and making them white so it has a little bit of a softer look. But again, the wonder of the white pen, it was looking weird, but it looks slightly better once you get the details of the white pen in. So that is this one all done as well. For my next one, I wanted it to make it look like the heart was glowing, and I decided to go for some pastel tones. So I have used my Shuttle Art pens. I do like these pens, but I have noticed that the more that I am using them, the more frayed the nibs are becoming, and that's just a little bit annoying. So I started off by colouring it pink and then sort of putting rainbow colours out. And then my original idea is that the whole rest of the dragonfly would be grey. So I did that, and I just didn't like how flat it looked. So I decided to try and add a little bit of subtle colour. So again, I'm wrestling with these wings. But I do sort of put a little bit of pink and a little bit of yellow into the cheeks and into the wings. Then to try and make this glowing heart look a bit better, we kind of put a bit of white pencil around the edge, but we really start to achieve the glow now when we add the white detail in. So I go over the line work with white. To be honest, I did that 2 or 3 times. Again, you can see I've taken the wings out as well and just done loads and loads of dotting around at the edge of the heart, and hopefully it still gives the same effect, that the kind of glowing heart lights up the cute little dragon. Again, we're going for another colourful idea here, and this is to turn the dragon into a kind of rainbow dragon. So I've got the various colours of the rainbow, and I'm just putting it down the dragon in little stripes. It did take quite a bit of blending. Once I've done that, I ended up going over it with some more markers and just creating these little dotty effects and sort of slightly taking the pink into the orange into the yellow, that sort of thing. And I decided to go with an iridescent look for the wings because I was practicing that the other week when I did the viral colouring, and I love that. And it's good when you learn a new technique to try it in multiple applications to really get to know it well, so that you feel comfortable and experimental with it. So again, to create that iridescent look, we go round the line work with a bright pink, and then once we have done that, we go into the center of the line work with a white pen, and that just helps it to look a lot more iridescent. So it really starts to come to life when you put these big juicy white highlights in as well. It kind of really gives that iridescent look, and I think this is really cute. I think this may be my favorite of all of the ones that I do today. So for the last one, again, I step outside my comfort zone. I have done that a few times today, so it's good. It's good for creative growth. But I start off by colouring over the image using a dark grey. So I used the Ohuhu CG1108, and that's before they changed the numbers, because I know they have a new number system which I'm not familiar with. But basically a very dark grey. I couldn't go black because I couldn't see the line work, and that is what I needed to do because I now trace over all the line work using a paint pen. So again, this is by Ohuhu, and it's the Kauku collection. I can never quite pronounce all the Ohuhu names. They're very cool, but you know, I'm not sure if that was right, but basically it's the one with the bullet nibs. And what I'm trying to do is fill the spaces, but not necessarily with solid colour. So some of it I have done with solid colour, but if I did that, I tried to add extra details on top. So like I've put the little toe beans in, which actually is adorable, and I kind of wish I had toe beans on my other dragons, so I might have to colour up another one. And with the other ones, I try to sort of fill the space with little doodles. So we've got doodles in the hearts and doodles in the wings. Again, I was trying to fill the face up. I didn't want to do it with doodles, and I didn't want solid colour, so I tried to sort of just add little elements. I do apologise about my head, but I did have to get really close to the artwork to kind of get this. It was very detailed work, and I edited it as best I can, but my face is still in there. Finally, just to tidy it up, I used one of my Shuttle Art 0.6 nibs of acrylic paint markers. These are my favourite things. And this is this one all finished. So 5 complete, same image, but 5 completely different styles. And that's one of the things I love about stamps. You can use the same image over and over again and get very different results, which is budget friendly as well. But I have to ask, which one of these is your favourite? Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sorry if I've been a bit distracted. There is a roof being built or resurfaced or something just behind my studio. And although my studio is normally fairly soundproof, I'm hearing them, I'm hearing the radio. I'm hoping it's not come through too much, but yeah, it's been somewhat distracting. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do hope that you'll maybe try some of the techniques. I have loved pushing myself outside my comfort zone with some of these. Please do download your image. It is free and it's in the description box below, and I would love to see what you create with this gorgeous little dragon heart. And I will be back again next Friday with a brand new video. Bye.